Hey guys, Drudder here. It is March the 4th, 2013 today, and if you've been watching the charts, you know that really nothing has happened over the past couple of days. This is all trading in the range of about 80 cents maximum from top to bottom over the past few trading sessions, few days, and this is today here. Really nothing to speak of, so that's not what this video is about. This video is going to be about this video. This, of course, is the Silverfuturist, and his video today is titled Eric Sprott, There is No Physical Shortage of Silver. And what he did is he watched a recent Eric Sprott interview, I think it was done about a week or two ago, and posted on another channel on YouTube, and I'll put the link down below. But the Silverfuturist gleaned from that interview that Eric Sprott is essentially saying there's no physical shortage of silver. That's his take on this interview. I didn't get the same feeling from the interview at all, and I don't think it was because I was making incorrect assumptions about what was going on. I did listen carefully to the interview, and I really didn't get this impression at all. But this is the Silverfuturist's impression. There is no physical shortage of silver. But I want to reuse his disclaimer, so I'm going to put it here, and I'll just change a couple of words.
Disclaimer: the price of silver can still go up.
Down.
So when I talk in this video, I'm not saying silver is a bad investment. I'm not saying the price is going down.
Up.
I am going to do some listening comprehension with Eric Sprott. Eric Sprott does tell a lot of truth, but you have to have solid listening comprehension skills and not make assumptions.
Okay, so let's watch that video. If you haven't done so already, give it a look. It's about 15 minutes long, and we will make sure to use solid listening comprehension skills, and we won't make assumptions. Alright, so did you get done watching that? Here's what Silverfuturist got from that video. There is no physical shortage of silver. And he also went through a few other things that he got from this video, including this one.
It's a very important point to know, is that he says someday we might see a physical shortage. Basically, he's saying there's no physical shortage. So listen to what he says and comprehend it.
Okay, listen to what he says and comprehend it.
Point to know is that he says someday we might see a physical shortage. Basically, he's saying there's no physical shortage.
Okay, what he actually said was, we can't be far from a physical silver shortage. So, I'm getting exactly the opposite from this video. Some other things I'm getting from this video, well, here's one of them.
I think almost the worse the financial system gets, the more they want to keep the price of gold down, because it's the canary in the coal mine. It's the tell on moving into a hyperinflationary environment, and then that people realize central bank policies are ridiculous and irresponsible.
Okay, so what he's saying is that we are entering into hyperinflation, and he's saying that gold and silver prices are manipulated. He's also saying things like the U.S. Treasury has no gold. He's saying precious metals prices are kept down to keep people in the US dollar and in stocks. And he's also saying that the COMEX and the LBMA will default. He said he doesn't know when that will happen, but they will default at some point. There won't be the physical silver, and people will try and, take delivery, and it won't happen. And they'll have to say, sorry, we'll just give you cash. Which I guess is the same as a default. He's also saying that the silver prices are going to $100 and further, and he made many other points in this video, but the point that I did not get from this video was that there is no physical shortage of silver. I got him saying we can't be far from a physical silver shortage. So if by that you get there's no shortage of silver, that's your reading comprehension skills or your listening comprehension skills failing you, I'm afraid, Silverfuturist. What happened to this Silverfuturist guy? He did a 180-degree flip-flop, which I guess is fine. I mean, sometimes you have to flip-flop if you believe you were incorrect in the first place. But, the topic came up in Bullion Bugs on Pal Talk, and we were chatting about it, and someone said, there are many ways to discredit an idea or a movement or a community, and one of them, just one of many ways, is a form of a long con. And the way that you would go about it is that you pretend to believe the idea or pretend to be part of this group. Okay, you support it. You would make unfounded and indefensible claims. In fact, you might say that silver is going extinct by 2020, for example. Then you may encourage other people to get involved and do the same thing. You may promote other videos or other statements that agree with the general idea. But then, because your antics and your behavior were so ridiculous, you can later go back and say, I've had a change of heart. I'm switching direction 180 degrees, and I think everything that I said previously was wrong. And because some of the things you did and some of the things you said were so ridiculous and unfounded, and some of the, for example, silver is going extinct by 2020, things can easily be debunked, you can then say, I was completely wrong, but now I'm right. Or at least now I believe I'm right, that I'm going 180 degrees in the other direction. And saying, silver is not a good thing to hold, it's not a good investment. There's too many conspiracy theorists out there. And, basically what you've done is you set up a straw man of yourself. You straw man yourself, and then later you go back and say, wow, was that ever a bunch of bullshit? I'm so sorry I said that. And in that way, you've discredited the idea, because you bring a lot of people on board, and a lot of people that support you. And then when you do the flop, then you can easily point to those things and say, look at how ridiculous that was. I was acting ridiculous. I was caught up in something. And, that's one way that you could discredit an idea. That's just what someone said and pointed out. Another person had a slightly more direct approach to what may have happened. He recorded a voice clip of himself, and he told me that I could use it here. So this is his impression of what may have happened at some point in the last 6 months or so.
He wants to focus on the chickens and eggs, and he wants the world to forget. But that's not how the way the internet works. And anything you say can and will be used against you, and that's just the way it is.
Please open up the door, Mr. Silverfuturist. We know you have the silver in there. You've made tons and tons of YouTube videos depicting silver spoons and silver plates. Give us the coins now. Stop playing like you don't like silver anymore and give it to us, or we'll choke your chickens until they die. Okay?
Anyhow, Joe, I love your chickens, and I would not wish any harm upon them. I think they're awesome, and I hope you're enjoying those eggs. But anyhow, I'm going to move on now and talk about some numbers coming out of the US Mint's website. So let's analyze a little data here. This is the US Mint's government website. This is their numbers. These are the Silver Eagles that were sold in January of this year. 7.5 million, a new record, and the Eagles sold in February of this year, 3.3 million, also a new record for February. So we've had a record January and February, and a lot of people are dismissing these numbers and saying it doesn't mean anything. Well, let's have a look at, I've done some analysis here. This is the number of Silver Eagles sold in Januaries and Februaries over the past 13 years. So starting in 2000, going all the way to 2012. So we started off at 1.8 million, sort of went up a little bit, back down, and then of course the price started to rise here in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011 was a record year so far. And last year, 2012, we were slightly down off those sales figures. Does anyone recognize this chart? Yeah. This is the silver chart here. I've drawn it in here in green so it looks the same, but this is the silver chart over the same time frame from 2000 to 2012. Yeah, I think that's fairly obvious. So the sales have roughly been following the price. Now, if we'll extrapolate this out one more year, what is the January-February total for 2013? That's already known. We can put that in here. And the answer is 10.9 million. So we have had a record year for February's and for January's and February's so far. And if you look at this, this doesn't necessarily reflect that. So we have followed the same pattern through to 2012, but the 2013 numbers are already showing that we are breaking free from the pattern of just following this price. The price has come down. In fact, the price is exactly where it was this time last year, but sales of bullion is remarkably higher. So this is something that we'll have to keep on following. But I think it's useful to look at data and actual numbers sometimes, rather than just drawing a conclusion from looking at someone else's interview and saying, what I got from that interview is that there is no physical shortage of silver. That doesn't seem to be what the interview was about at all. You know, that is something that you can glean from that interview, sure, but to do a video on it and with that title, there is no shortage of silver, that's just disingenuous to me. And I think it's useful to look at data. And here we are breaking free from that pattern of just following the price. We've had a record January and February, and that puts us on pace for a record year. Who knows if the price is going to follow along with the sales, but that is what's happening. That is the sales, and that's what's going on right now. People are stacking up big time on silver bullion. So that's it for me, guys. Keep on stacking, and I'll talk to you soon.